So these produced this, which resulted in me exporting this and only importing this. So who cares, right? Well, I kind of do, because payback needs to come from somewhere. I think general sentiment is that April was a pretty good month for solar across the board. I've seen various other videos online from other channels. For me, it was my first April with this new system, which was installed back in 2025 August. If you've not seen that video yet, full cost breakdown, what the system looks like, is in the top corner right now. But yeah, for me, it was quite an interesting result. As you can see, I just did just over a megawatt hour exported. And obviously I didn't have to really import anything at all. This is helped largely by the battery size that I've got. So 64 kilowatt hours really makes a big difference. So there was a spanner in the works. I call it a spanner as such. My daughter, as covered in the next video in the top corner, got an EV due to spiralling costs in the world and various events in the Middle East. So she is, she turned up with it quicker than expected. So I had to build something out of, or take the rabbit out of the hat as such on that one and get that done quickly. But the long and the short of it is tariffs. I know that word probably sends nervousness into many people, bearing in mind that a certain leader of a country across the pond from us has a way of using those terms, or using that specific term, quite a lot. So let's get down to business then. The tariff that I'm currently on, and have been since the system was installed in August last year, is the Octopus Flux tariff, running off of effectively my heart, which is the sunsynk max inverter, which is a single phase 16 kilowatt hour inverter, or sorry, 16 kilowatt inverter. And that effectively is giving me the ability to export what I don't need or use, or actually import stuff when it's cheap. And I'll go over later on how I coped during the winter that's just gone as well, which was interesting, obviously, because I was new to the whole on-grid setup and everything along those lines. So in that respect, really, does size matter in terms of battery capacity? Yes, it does. And with the system that I've now got in place, I've got, I'd say, the luxury, but I've got value for money, and that value for money has enabled me to effectively just use those batteries really to manage my energy and actually get a payback and a return on investment. And it's likely, looking by April's results, going to be fairly quick for me. But again, I'm always cautious on providing any kind of advice on how things are going to go in the world, how the weather's going to go in the UK. In May so far, it's been sunshine, showers, hail, wind, pretty much 4 seasons in one day kind of thing. So for April, I had my first £11 net revenue day, which is absolutely incredible. I wasn't expecting that, but again, through careful planning and making sure that I was actually exporting to my limit, which my limit at the moment, which obviously won't change from the DNO. I actually did the DNO process myself. I got 8.7 kilowatts for export. So it doesn't matter what time of day or night I'd use it. That's the maximum I can push back out to the grid, obviously for selling excess energy or effectively importing and selling it again at peak rates. So my window on the Octopus tariff, which I'll put up on the screen now, for imports and exports, is just making sure that you're getting the cheap rate if you are importing from the grid, and then exporting obviously at the peak time, which on this tariff that I'm on at the moment is 29p per kilowatt hour. So I obviously know what I'm going to get from that period of time, which is between 4 and 7 p.m. every evening. So I know that with my 8.7 kilowatt limit, I can effectively export 26.1 kilowatt hours. So I kind of know that it's going to be around £7.56 per day that I'll get from that period alone. So what it is, it's working out from all the other bits and pieces and the inputs, and then I'm now obsessed with weather reports, making sure that you understand what the weather's likely to get, so that have some kind of idea what you need to import if solar generation is not going to be good enough the following day, because obviously I can only import import on this so that I don't incur too much on the cost side between 2 and 5 a.m. in the morning. So it's really about being smart about the smart tariffs, if that makes sense. So for me, just really understanding, studying what I've got available to me is really the way that I've made this kind of money. So as you can see, I'll show you the results for April now. So net revenue, which again is still blowing my mind away really, was £223 and some pence. And yeah, working that out, obviously with the good weather is obviously played into my hands a lot. But again, you need to have that backup plan to be able to import when you don't have sufficient, or you can't have sufficient to get your export. So I always plan for the export, the full export at between 4 and 7 every evening, because I know that whatever I get that energy in, so if it's off the roof, obviously it's free, so that's pure profit. Or if I do import, I try and only import as much as I need to make sure I can meet that window, and also that I don't drop my battery capacity too low to get into the danger zone under 20%. But I mean, having 64 kilowatt hours available is just it just gives you that flexibility. It's like a big a tank of water, and how much it costs to fill it, and then when you want to take some out or when you want to use it for something else. But for me, it's working much better than I originally thought it would. So I'm going to obviously share a lot more of the way the tariffs work for me and how I've got around those, and generally how I'm getting the system to pay back for itself, because I still maintain that going the route I went and getting the sunsynk inverter with the flexibility on batteries that I can attach, and obviously doing the DNO application myself, it just worked in my favour, because I've got a value for money system. And again, it's covered in the other video earlier, suggested that the total costs involved with a good installer, mated with the fact that I've also electrified the house as well, which also means that I said goodbye to gas in February this year, 2026. And also I went over to, I didn't go to the standard heat pumps to power my radiators and deliver my hot water. I went for air conditioning. So air conditioning, I got 2 units, but again, that's another video for another day. But I went for air conditioning and also for a standalone heat pump cylinder, where you have the integrated heat pump on top from Mixergy. So yeah, that's it's been an interesting journey, learning journey for me, because I've been traditionally gas for all of my life in the UK, in every house I've ever lived in, right from when I was with my parents until recently in my own house. So yeah, that's along the short of it. So for April, it was just an amazing revenue month, really, net revenue month, more than I was kind of expecting. But the EV now presents a different challenge, which I'll obviously be sharing how that goes, and how I'm going to approach winter. I don't even know how I'm going to even deal with that at the moment. But I just wanted to cover this one off quickly, just to give you an idea of what April looked like. My first April with this setup in this system with the larger batteries, because obviously got smaller batteries installed to begin with. My DIY batteries were used, the 30 kilowatt hours were used in the first place. Anyway, I think I've gibbered enough on this. If you do have any comments or questions, just pop them in the chat and I'll get round to them as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and if you've got anything or you want to know anything further, just give us a shout. Have a good one.